Quiet on the outside of the Wounded Warrior Project headquarters here in Jacksonville tonight, but inside, a major shakeup at the nation's largest veterans charity. The top two executives, Stephen Nardizzi and Al Giordano, are out. Within the past 2 hours, the Wounded Warrior Project Board of Directors released this two-page statement after their 6-week review of the charity.
This all began when News4Jax shows you evidence of lavish and questionable spending like this. Then our former CEO Nardizzi rappelling down the side of a 5-star resort at an employee training event. We now know that a trip to the Broadmoor in Colorado for hundreds of Wounded Warrior Project staff cost nearly $1 million. We also showed you him entering other events for staff, riding on a horse, and a Segway inside hotels. The board admitting tonight that charity would benefit from new leadership. News4Jax investigative reporter Lindsay Gardner has broken several angles of this story, from 2 lawsuits Wounded Warrior Project filed against fellow veterans, to yearbooks for staff, to a big donor pulling all support because of what Lindsay's reports exposed, and concerning social media posts from Wounded Warrior Project elite about this growing scandal. Lindsay is joining us now. Lindsay, you were the first to get reaction from a key whistleblower tonight at 6. He says even more needs to be done.
Yes, Joy. Well, that whistleblower, a warrior, and a key donor, all three telling me tonight ousting the 2 top execs is a step forward. But the problem is systemic within the charity, and more needs to be done from the inside out to save not only its reputation, but protect our country's veterans in need. Stephen Nardizzi and Al Giordano no longer with the very charity they helped to found back in 2005, the Wounded Warrior Project. It became a fundraising machine, pulling in more than $800 million in donations just in the last 4 years. Both were ousted by their own board of directors after an independent review found policies, procedures, and controls at WWP have not kept pace with the organization's rapid growth. And to best effectuate these changes and help restore trust, the board determined the organization would benefit from new leadership. Eric Millett, a combat wounded veteran who used to work for Wounded Warrior Project, was a key whistleblower in the scandal. He first talked with us 2 months ago and again tonight about the shakeup. Are you pleased that Stephen Nardizzi is no longer the CEO of Wounded Warrior Project?
I am. I think that is a step in the right direction. I think that there is more to be done. In my opinion, I think the entire executive team, all 4 of them, should be terminated from their positions because they all bred the same narcissistic, self-centered culture, and that culture of intimidation. And if one remains, that culture is going to remain and it will continue to breed.
In their statement, the board adamantly disputed Millett's claim that the Wounded Warrior Project doesn't call warriors, saying from 2013 to 2015, WWP employees made more than 150,000 outreach calls. Still, Millett says he is happy with the board's overall findings.
I think it's a step in the right direction for the organization. I think that it shows that the board took everybody's allegations of misuse of donor dollars seriously. They brought in independent auditors and did an investigation themselves and found everything that we were speaking of. And it shows that there was not complete transparency at the executive level of Wounded Warrior Project, that there were things being hidden and not being revealed to the public.
One of those executives is the Chief Program Officer, Adam Silva. Last week, we showed you Silva's Facebook post where he called the news stories, quote, bull. We've asked if he's still with the charity. That question has not been answered. Marcus Mason is a Marine, medically retired after 9 years of service to our country. He remembers Wounded Warrior Project in its infancy at a hospital in 2006 when he came home from Iraq.
I remember seeing the backpacks going up to ICU from guys burnt from head to toe. And that's when it was pretty much in its infancy. And it was rock solid. It was very heartfelt. I remember Al, somebody having a big heart, somebody caring about a warrior.
When Mason, 35, medically retired years later, surviving 2 blasts, he came home with PTSD, a traumatic brain injury, and other war wounds. He says he then remembered Al Giordano, and he turned to the Wounded Warrior Project's track program to help him go back to college and get his life back. But he says when he alerted leaders to internal issues, he was abandoned by the charity he needed most out of retaliation.
For months, I said, there's no way Al knows about this. There's no way. But maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's a business and it starts off with helping somebody heartfelt. And maybe when things get to a certain level, maybe he changed the direction.
Another factor in the shakeup, donor dollars. Fred Kane has raised $325,000 over the last 8 years through golf tournaments, every penny going to the Wounded Warrior Project. Kane's two sons were both deployed when he started the effort. He felt personally betrayed by the accusations of misusing donated funds. And he started this petition demanding Nardizzi be fired and a full audit of the charity's finances be made public. Tonight he talked with us from South Carolina via Skype about the firings.
We're pleased because we think it's definitely a step in the right direction. You know, the problem is that there's a culture, a systemic culture, and I think that moving forward, they're going to have to go through a lot more personnel changes.
What would you say to Steven Nardizzi tonight? I mean, you started that petition to hold him accountable.
Right.
What would
I say to him? Goodbye.
So what's changing? A nationwide search for a new CEO will begin soon. In the meantime, the chair of the Wounded Warrior Project's board of directors, Anthony Odierno, will now take over temporarily as the office of the CEO. The board also said in their statement they will strengthen WWP's travel policies. They will also strengthen policies related to employee and director expenses, enhance employee training, and continue to have its financial statements independently audited and available on the organization's website. As for Odierno, he also released his own statement tonight saying, quote, "I would like to thank WWP's dedicated employees, donors, sponsors, and partners who have stood loyally by this organization over the last 6 weeks while the board conducted a very comprehensive review of its operations and the allegations that were made. It is now time to put the organization's focus directly back on the men and women who have so bravely fought for our country and who are in need of our support." Tom and Joy.
Lindsay, this statement that we got tonight from the Wounded Warrior Project board, they say their most recent audit shows that 80.6% of the donations have gone to programming and that the charitable watchdog organizations that have criticized them are simply using improper accounting procedures. So, I mean, if it's really 80.6%, somebody watching this would say, well, what's wrong?
Well, you at home have to decide how you want your math done. That's what it's going to come down to here. We've said all along that Wounded Warrior Project says 80.6% goes to programming. So we've reported that from the very beginning, but we've also told everyone at home, Charity Watch and Charity Navigator, which are respected charity oversight groups, dispute that number. They say the number is more around the 56 to 59% mark, and where they say the discrepancy comes from is that Wounded Warrior Project including what the board is doing tonight, includes fundraising pitches that are mailed out to the public as a program. And Charity Watch and Charity Navigator say that's not a program, that's fundraising. But of course, Wounded Warrior Project disputes that. We should also say tonight that Charity Navigator placed Wounded Warrior Project on its watch list, and it has remained there for 2 months, and it will be on there for at least 6 months.
Lindsay, thank you.
Folks, there's much more online tonight from our months-long investigation. There, watch a web exclusive report on what exactly happened to Marcus Mason in his time at Wounded Warrior Project. We've also posted Lindsay's full interview with whistleblower Eric Millett. And you can read the board's full statement for yourself. All of it right now on news4jax.com/investigative. We'll be right back.